continuing for Marion County. All right, there's the Skycam. And Brian, what do you see on the Skycam?
Well, I'm
that looks like a shelf cloud almost there, doesn't it?
It does look like a shelf cloud, but I'm very concerned with that lowering where it's going over the horizon right there, because that hill is in the way, and I don't know if there could be something just. The clouds are very low to the ground, so it's making it difficult to get a good, clear visual if there is anything happening right there on that Hamilton Skycam. But that seems to be the active part that's coming in west of Hamilton.
And if we can maybe pan that shot a little bit, Brian, and zoom in. I want to zoom into that lowering we're seeing right there.
Okay.
A little bit to the right.
A little bit to the right.
And again, we're watching, this is our live Skycam from Hamilton High School right in through there.
See, I'm not seeing signs of rotation.
I'm not either. I mean, remember, as Brian teaches so well in the classes that we conduct, our Storm Alert Extreme and our training classes, there are a lot of tornado lookalikes. Just because you see a low, ragged cloud does not mean it's a tornado. And I didn't see any evidence of a tornado at that point.
I'm trying to get back there because I think this is where the main action is going on. But the hill plus the low clouds are making it very difficult. Nature does not make it easy for storm spotters.
Yeah, so again, best I can tell you is to stay in your safe place until this thing passes, until we give you an all clear. And again, I stress, if you are in Winfield and Ewan, this does not affect you. And Brilliant, you are not involved in this. We like to tell people who's in. We like to tell people who's out. And this is clearly a situation for areas north and west of the city of Hamilton here. But Hamilton is in the polygon, and you need to stay in your safe place for probably another 10 minutes or so. We'll let you know when we can give you an all clear on that. Hackleburg is involved in this polygon as well. And it looks like it just went off my screen. Let's see if the Weather Service has canceled it. I don't think they have. They have not.
I have not seen a cancellation.
No, they have not canceled.
We've also lost John Brown's stream, too.
Okay. Yeah, and understand that the cellular data can be very inconsistent during tornado situations like this. Tell you what, let's go back to the big picture, Brian. Let's go back to the main graphic system. Let's look at all the warnings in effect for the state. The Weather Service in Huntsville has posted a tornado warning for Franklin County as an extension to the storm that is passing west of Hamilton. So we've got that eastern part of Franklin County under a tornado warning. And that's that storm up in the Tennessee Valley that has been very problematic. The one that passed just north of Athens, that caused damage on the Tennessee River. Tremendous radar signature that is passing north and east of Huntsville. And I stress, that storm up there will not affect the city of Huntsville. There is another tornado warning polygon that now includes Lowndes County, Mississippi. And that's another one we're going to have to watch, because if that thing holds together, it might affect parts of West Alabama as well. In fact, that's got a pretty decent little signature on that. Let's go back to the high-res radar quickly. I'll show you the storm prompting the warning for Columbus, Mississippi. It's this one right here. This is US 82 that runs from Columbus back over to Starkville. That's 45 east and west. And again, that is a fairly significant tornado signature. This is the same tornado that came across Louisville, Mississippi that caused major damage. There has been major damage caused by this. It is a long-track tornado, and there's still very strong evidence it is still there. And that is moving up in the general direction of Columbus, maybe you're just south of there. And if that thing holds together, it could impact Pickens County, Alabama. So again, at this point, we're going to have to watch this, and if you're in Pickens County, be aware that that storm could be in a position to prompt a tornado warning for you in just a little bit. Not now, but just in a little bit. Another thing, a point I want to make here, if you are watching us in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden, like we've talked about for a long time, you have no problems for a while. It might be after 7 o'clock before you have any hint of a problem. Might even be after 8 or 9 o'clock if you're in East Alabama. So understand, this is a situation where it's just going to take a while for this stuff to reach the major metropolitan areas in our television market. And thankfully, by the time the storms arrive, the dynamic support will not be as great as what we have right now. And somebody is calling me on a Google Hangout. I don't know who that would be. It might be now, but I turned that down. But again, there could be a tornado, yes, in Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden. Nobody should be letting down on your guard, but the dynamic support, the the shear, the buoyancy, the conditions are not as extreme as they are right now. So hopefully by the time it reaches the larger cities, we'll have more of a wind and flooding threat, and that's bad enough. All right, Brian, you got the Stratastation camera. What do you got?
I'm trying to figure it out, James. All these trees and hills make it very difficult. Definitely looks like in that shot right there that we're getting a good deal of heavy rain, but I am concerned to see how fast those clouds appear to be moving across the field of view there. And there's a tremendous amount of lightning that's going on with this storm too. Every time I seem to pan, I seem to get another lightning stroke. So lightning is also a danger out there as well. And
but again, the storm looks very disorganized on radar right now.
yeah, it does. It's not looking nearly as well as it did a little bit ago.
I do believe that this is certainly a situation where we got a rather disorganized thunderstorm, and that is good. But based on the history of this, the storm and the reports we've had for those people in Hamilton, we still advise that you stay in a good, safe place. Really quickly, this is the tornado signature that is north of Harvest. Again, Huntsville is down here. This is not affecting Huntsville. This is the northern part of Madison County. We have a tornado warning in effect here. This storm will wind up in Tennessee, but it could be passing close to Hazel Green. That's US 431 right there. But again, Brian, what you got?
I'm not sure, James.
It looks like Scud to me.
Yeah, I think it really is. There's awful lot of lookalikes out there in the world of spotting. One of the things we try to teach storm spotters is that you've got to be very careful to watch for that rotation, and I'm simply not seeing rotation in that particular area right there.
Right, and we've got broad rotation on radar, but it's broad, and it doesn't look like a classic tornado signature, which you see right here. So again, this is one of our 2 cameras we have in Hamilton, but the Weather Service is going to continue the tornado warning in effect until 6:15. For the next 30 minutes. I have an idea they're going to cancel this well before 6:15 as the storm will exit the county. But the latest update, the storm was indicated near Weston, moving northeast at 35. The rotation passed north and west of the city of Hamilton. And the good news, I've heard of no damage from this. We had a state trooper that reported a multiple vortex tornado. The Weather Service declared a tornado emergency, but again, at this point, I have heard of no damage coming out of either Lamar County or out of Marion County, which is a very good thing. So this will continue tracking up here into Franklin County. In fact, that rotational signature should be up into Franklin County in about the next 10 to 15 minutes. That's why I'm saying that the warning will be expired well before 6:15. So again, at this point, so far so good in that we've heard of no damage on this storm in Marion County. And that's the reason we are here. We apologize for those of you that have tuned in expecting a newscast. Anytime we have a county in our television market under a tornado warning, we come on the air and we stay on the air until the warning expires or the danger is over. And again, this has prompted this, and hopefully we can have a 6 o'clock newscast for you this evening. But again, this is Hackleburg, and of course this place was hit so hard in 2011. That was one of our 3 EF5s that day that came through Hackleburg and Phil Campbell, these 2 cities right here. This signature is going to be passing a little to the west of there, maybe affecting Hodges. And again, we stress, we just haven't seen anything. And let's go back to that Skycam, Brian.
Yes, the Hamilton Skycam is bandwidth with high definition is giving me a little fits trying to get it to move here, but we're looking at the area where we would expect, if we could see something, that we might see something in there, but we're still just not seeing anything, which is good. I don't want to sound disappointed.
Right, no, that's a very good thing. I mean, we are not.
But I'm also concerned about, you see that bright hole in the Skycam image there? I'm a little concerned that that could be the development of a rear flank downdraft, which can help to increase the possibility of a tornado occurring. But I can't be absolutely positive of that, and there is no evidence on the Skycam of rotation going on, so that's the good sign.
Let's take a picture coming off of Twitter. This is an image that was sent to us a little earlier. This was taken near Detroit, 4 miles from Detroit. This was a wall cloud. The person that took the image did not believe there was a tornado here. This was a wall cloud. And this was captured a little earlier in the life cycle of this. And this is when there was pretty firm evidence that we might maybe had something down in through here. So again, that is a sign of what it looks like. And again, we got multiple cameras up in Hamilton. Here's another shot from Hamilton. And again, this is the same kind of thing that we're seeing from the various Skycams we have. So let's go back to the Skycam network. And again, we're just going to kind of watch this together. And again, Brian, you're my spotter trainer. So what have you seen over there?
Well, I was concerned about that bit of a bright spot, because that could be that rear flank downdraft. And again, James, we're not seeing any evidence really of rotation based on the scud clouds. Scud clouds can be a pain in the backside, but sometimes they can also be very helpful, because they can help you determine if there is rotation going on at the base of the clouds. And we're simply not seeing any of that in the way of rotation going on there. So that's good news. Even though there is a broad circulation within the thunderstorm itself, what we call the mesocyclone, we are just not seeing anything that would suggest. But that bright spot right there, what happens with the rear flank downdraft is that the air actually comes down on the backside of the thunderstorm and actually helps to evaporate. The downward moving air helps to evaporate some of the clouds and can often give us a bright spot like that. So that is of concern, but it's not. Rear flank downdraft plays a role in tornado formation, but it's not it's a well-identified feature, but we're not quite sure about all the interactions that are going on with the rear flank downdraft.
While we've got Candace up there, let's go to Candace Sweat. Candace is in Hamilton. Candace, what can you tell us from Hamilton now?
Right now, James, everybody is basically taking shelter as they should, certainly following the warnings and the heats that you've been giving them. We're inside the fire station right now, but the sky is extremely dark. We've seen clouds pass over our way, but there are families bringing their children, their mothers, daughters, fathers, whoever, to the fire station, taking cover underground as well as at the rec center. There is a Methodist church on Highway 43 that I'm told can hold several dozen people, so certainly people in Hamilton can go there as well. The rec center is on 5th Avenue. They also have a basement there, so there are 2 shelters across the street as well as a basement. I spoke with the mayor. He says people can take shelter there as well, but basically everybody here is hunkering down, James, and hoping for the best and waiting for this thing to pass over.
And again, it's good that the fact that we've seen no evidence of a tornado. We've had a lot of, wall cloud shots from John Brown. We've had a lot of lowerings. In fact, let me show you this image. This is from Detroit, coming off Twitter a little earlier. Now, that could be something down, Brian. That is probably one of the better shots we've seen. And again, this is when the storm was located on the Marion-Lamar County line. Yes. And at that point, it was organized on radar. The circulation was relatively tight, and I think that's probably when this was maximized. But again, on radar, the storm looks more disorganized at this point, and that's a good thing. So let's go back to the radar, and again, our graphic system here. And we've got, really, it's quiet. Again, I stress, if you're in Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden, it is nice and quiet. It's going to be after 7 o'clock, maybe after 8 o'clock before you have any problems. All of this action is over the northwestern corner of the state. And again, by the time all this reaches the larger population centers, the dynamic support will not be as strong, so we are optimistic that conditions won't be this bad. Could there be a tornado? Yes, but not as bad as what we're seeing right now. And now we're getting a second tornado, Brian, up in the Tennessee Valley. They are really getting slammed up here.
That storm is really going through a bunch of evolutions.
And this is a second storm. In fact, let's take the high-res radar, and let me show you what we've got here. This is the original tornado right here. And this has become fairly broad, and it's moving up into Tennessee. It might clip Hazel Green. It passed north of Harvest. But this thing is another tornado right here at Rogersville. Brian, this is a second storm behind that first one, and this is a second tornado. The Weather Service says there is a tornado at Clements High School, confirmed by the Lauderdale County EMA as it came over the area near Rogersville. Roof damage has occurred to a restaurant on Main Street in Leeton in this current storm. So this is a second tornado that is currently in progress up here in the Tennessee Valley. So, and it's really going to go maybe a little north of the first one, but it's going to be the same deal. It's going to impact Limestone County. This is Elkmont. This is Ardmore. That's I-65. So while that lead storm crossed over the interstate, the second one is coming up. Looks like a rain shaft, Brian.
Yes, it does, but I'm still concerned.
Right. Again, we're watching the velocities very carefully. And again, we have not given anybody an all clear in Marion County. We can give you an all clear in Lamar County. Only a very small sliver of Lamar County was under a tornado warning. And understand that if you live down in Sulligent or Vernon or Kennedy or Millport, this didn't affect you to start with, which is a good thing. But again, it's very noisy as we look at the velocity display, and the radar is pretty close. The radar is at Columbus Air Force Base we're looking at here, which is giving us a good low-level shot into the storm. And again, it doesn't look very impressive, but there could be some type of broad circulation that is located to the north of the city of Hamilton. But I think the one thing clear, Brian, is the fact that we did not see any damage in the city of Hamilton.
Okay.
And quite frankly, I've not seen any damage at all, Brian, from any of these storms in Lamar or
So far.
or Marion so far. There's a spotter in that area. We've got people up there, and so far,
Looking in what direction?
so good. So that's a good thing. So again, we've got a tornado warning that is still in effect for Marion County. And we've been watching the sky cams up here, but we have seen no evidence of a tornado. There's been no damage. Let's go back to the Skycam network.
Okay.
We'll take this full screen. And Brian has got, I believe, one of our folks on the line up there in Hamilton. This is the camera that is in Hamilton at the Stratus Station facility. This is the vendor that provides our Skycam network. So you'll see a tower structure there. Looks like an old Ron 25 tower. Ham radio operators will know what that is. And again, we're looking right over the treetop level, and obviously the winds have picked up a little bit. But again, this is a live look at. All right, here's another report from a trooper up in Marion County at Grover Davis Road and Highway 187, and he reports a tornado on the ground. So again, this is another report from a state trooper that there could be a tornado down at Grover Davis Road and Highway 187. So, Brian, again, if you missed that, there's another report from a state trooper that there could be something there.
Yes. Well, and I don't take personal calls on my phone, James.
But you're ordering a pizza back over there.
No, I wish I could. I'm getting hungry. That was one of our colleagues up in Hamilton, and he said to look at the Stratus Station camera because things were looking pretty bad, but he said it has changed character very rapidly. So things are obviously changing very quickly up there as this storm is evolving. And with the radar showing what it's showing, it would appear that it is evolving in terms of maybe decreasing, and that is certainly good.
Right. So, again, we've not heard of any damage whatsoever. And that is a very, very good thing. And again, we're still watching these cameras very carefully as the storm comes through Marion County in areas north and west of the city of Hamilton. We have John Brown up there. We have Candace Sweat that's up there. And so far, they've reported no damage, despite the fact that there have been some reports of something down up and through there. So same deal. We have a tornado warning in effect for Marion County until 6:15. That's going to stay in effect until the Weather Service decides to cancel that. It's coming up on 5:53, and more than likely that rotation center is going to be fully up into Franklin County. And quite frankly, it's so noisy on the radar, it's really hard to identify what they've seen here. But let's go to the graphic system behind me, and this is kind of a nice overview of what we've got. We've got these multiple supercell thunderstorms today lined up through parts of North Alabama and parts of central Mississippi. This is the storm that's coming through Marion County, prompting the tornado warning. It's also prompted a tornado warning for parts of Franklin County. We have a new storm that's prompted a tornado warning for parts of Lauderdale and Limestone counties. This is not the original tornado that came through there. This is a second one, and this is the original that's moving up into southern Tennessee. We also have a tornado warning in effect for Lowndes County, Mississippi. So we got Kevin Williams, the Marion County Sheriff. Sheriff, can you hear us? And if so, what have you got up there for us?
Yes, sir. I can hear you just fine,
Good.
James. So far, we hadn't had any reports of any damage, thank goodness. Now, we've had some reports of a tornado on the ground a couple times, but unconfirmed as far as any damage on the ground. That went over 78 Highway and Highway 19. It went over a subdivision just kind of west of Hamilton, Oak Hill subdivision. I just got another report, State Highway 187, and another road up there. It may be on the ground just north of Hamilton, so we're trying to confirm that as we speak.
But again, to your knowledge, and if anybody in that county knows what's going on, it's you. You've heard of no damage reports so far, right?
Right. So far, no damage, thank goodness.
And I assume you got power in town. Looks like everything's working fine in the town from what we can tell.
Yes. Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. Well, Sheriff, if you get any other reports, please call us right back and let us know. We appreciate that report.
Yes, sir. Like I said, we got the last report was on State Highway 187 and Grover Davis Road. And It's headed toward Hackleburg like it did 3 years ago.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay. You're welcome.
And yeah, again, this is coming from our Skywatcher chat. One of the firemen up in Haleyville, he says that Hackleburg police, they're reporting a funnel cloud northwest of Hackleburg by about 2 to 3 miles. And again, that original rotation passed north and west of Hamilton, and it's moving up into Franklin County. That rotation is a little north of Hackleburg, and there could very well be a funnel cloud there. He said there's 45 to 55 mile per hour storm inflow, and if there's a tornado, it would be rain wrapped and it's awfully hard to see. So again, the Weather Service will maintain the tornado warning in effect for Marion for a few more minutes, and then as it moves up into Franklin, they'll be able to take that warning out as that moves out of Marion County up into Franklin County. But again, we have these multiple storms up here in the Tennessee Valley, and this is the axis of where everything is maximized for severe weather. This is where the Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, defined a high risk of severe weather today from around this region here, the Shoals, Athens, Decatur, down into central Mississippi, and that is exactly where all of this is happening. It's where everything is maximized. Conditions are not quite that extreme down our way, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden. So again, there's a pretty reasonable chance by the time the storms reach the larger population centers, they will not be as extreme. And again, there could be a tornado, yes. There could be a tornado warning. There could be some problems. There could be some flooding. There could be some hail. There could be some straight line winds. We've had reports of baseball-sized hail today in these storms, but we think the trend will be towards slow weakening tonight. But not the severe weather threat's not going to end. This is going to be one of these long nights of watching the weather, and we will do that for you. So again, that's the big picture. While I've got the radar up, let's take a look back to the high-res radar, the one here, and we're watching this rotation that is south of Columbus, Mississippi. Columbus is right here, and you can see the circulation that's right here. This is moving northeast. This is the storm that hit Louisville, Mississippi, and there's been very severe damage. I mean, it is bad in Louisville, Mississippi. We've had reports of entrapment. We've had reports of injuries, and so this is a storm to take seriously, and this is the state line. Understand, this thing is getting pretty close to Pickens County. This is US 82 coming into Columbus that runs over to Starkville. That's 45 east, that's 45 west, and this is moving up in the direction of Columbus. So if you are watching us on the live stream across the state line in Lowndes County, Mississippi, be aware that this is a dangerous storm, and that's going to be crossing the state line over into Pickens County more than likely relatively soon, and the Weather Service in Birmingham will have to make a decision on what to do with this. They might post a tornado warning for Pickens County here shortly. One note back to our storm that's up in the northwestern part of the state up and through here, the storm that passing north of Hackleburg, a traveler along US 43 has reported some tree debris on the road, not necessarily whole trees, but tree limbs and things like that. And again, that circulation is coming just north of Hackleburg, and it's moving out of Marion County. And I can give you an all clear right now for Hamilton. So this thing is a good 20 miles north of you, moving away from you. So if you're in the city of Hamilton, we can give you an all clear. You can go about your business at this point. We still advise people to be in a tornado safe place in Hackleburg for about 5 or 10 more minutes. And the same thing for Phil Campbell. If you're in Phil Campbell, you should be in a tornado safe place as well, as this circulation center seems to be a little better organized in the last couple of scans as that moves on towards the northeast. So that's the situation there. And again, up in the Tennessee Valley, very, very active weather happening up that way this evening as well. So the reason we are here, it is because of this tornado warning that was issued for Marion County, Alabama. This is a storm that cut across the community near Detroit, which is in Lamar County, then cut up through areas north and west of the city of Hamilton. And again, that circulation center is now clearly up into Franklin County. It's going to pass more than likely west of Phil Campbell, maybe approaching Russellville, but there could be a tornado in this region right here. So the Weather Service in Huntsville is continuing the tornado warning in effect for Franklin County. The warning for Marion County will likely expire. And what we're going to do is take a pause and start our 6 o'clock news. We'll start with weather, and if there is a possibility that everything calms down, we'll try and have some news for you. But